This video was recorded on a closed range under the supervision of professionals. No firearms are being sold or modified in this video, and this content follows all platform guidelines.
Can I pass the World War II rifle qualification? Let's find out. Today, I'll be trying my hand at the World War II marksmanship qualification as outlined in the 1943 manual for the 1903 rifle. If I pass, I'll be able to pin this rifle marksmanship badge on my World War II dress uniform. I'm really excited because I haven't been able to find anyone else who's accurately recreated this World War II test. So like with the World War II fitness test that I did and the World War II 1911 qualification course, I think I'll be the first one to accurately recreate this on video, at least here on YouTube. I'll start by giving a quick overview of the testing procedure, then I'll sight in my rifle and try the test for myself, and at the end we can add up my score and see if I qualified. I'm hoping I can at least do better than my 1911 qualification attempt, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. But I think it's safe to say I failed this test. To complete this qualification course today, I have this beautiful M1903A3 rifle made by Remington in 1942. Now, let me give you a quick overview of the World War II qualification course I'll be trying today. The original 1943 manual for the 1903 rifle actually includes 4 different qualification courses that can be used to fulfill your rifle qualification. There's one course that goes as far as 200 meters, there's one that goes out to 300 meters, there's one that goes as far as 500 meters, and then there's one that goes out to 1,000 inches. That's right, there was a 1,000-inch shooting qualification, and that was designed for smaller facilities that didn't have access to a long-distance range. That's the course I'll be firing today because this range doesn't go out to 200 yards, and that'll make it a lot easier for me to film all this for you guys. I'd love to try qualifying at some of the other distances in the future, but I think this is a great place to start. This 1,000-inch test should be just as difficult as the other tests. Even though it's at a shorter distance, the targets are scaled down proportionally, and you need a higher score to qualify on this version of the test because they figure that your shots won't be affected by wind and other environmental factors at such a close range. This test consists of 2 portions, a slow fire section and a sustained fire section. I'll go through the specifics of those sections as I'm shooting them, but each section uses a different target. The biggest challenge of recreating these World War II shooting tests is typically getting the targets that are appropriate for this test, since they're very outdated, and as far as I can tell, nobody makes these targets anymore. I did actually find some targets online that were labeled exactly the same as the ones I needed for this test, and I even ordered some, but after that I realized they have a slightly larger bullseye than the ones shown in the World War II manual for these tests. So instead of ordering some off-the-shelf targets, I had to meticulously recreate these World War II targets in CAD software using the dimensions from the World War II manual, and then print them off so I could use them today. At least these ones are a bit smaller than the giant ones I needed for my 1911 qualification. Could I have just used something similar or drawn something by hand that would have been close enough? Absolutely. But if you've been watching my page for any amount of time, you know that close enough is never good enough when it comes to history. All right, that's enough yapping for now. Let me set up a non-World War II target up there just so I can sight in my rifle and get ready to take the test. All right, guys, now that I have my cool-looking iPro on and everything, we're ready to take our first shots with this rifle and see how we can do. Again, these are just to sight it in, but I'm excited to try this for the first time. I haven't shot this one yet. Well, I can't see where that hit yet, but I can tell you I kicked a little more than I was ready for. Let's go again. That thing's not messing around, I'll tell you what. All right, let's see if we can get a little closer to the center of that paper. I made a couple tiny adjustments. Might need to do a little bit more, but this will give us something to go from. That felt a little better. All right, that one was closer. I'm gonna make a slight adjustment to the elevation here, and then I think we'll be good to go. For this test, each shot can score a maximum of 5 points, meaning that the maximum total score is 235. If I score a 210 or higher, that means I'm qualified as an expert rifleman. 190 to 209 makes me a sharpshooter. 160 to 189 means that I'm a qualified marksman. And below 160 means that I'm unqualified and I failed the test. This first stage of the test is slow fire. We'll be shooting in 4 different positions and there's no time limit. In each position, we'll shoot 5 shots. For both the targets that I'm using today, the scoring is the same. Inside the black bullseye is 5 points. Inside the rings labeled 4, 3, and 2 are 2 points. And then outside of that border is 0 points. That means it's impossible to score only 1 point with the shot. At the end of each of these shooting positions, I'll record my score, and then at the end of this slow fire section, we can add all those up to see how I need to do on the sustained fire to qualify, at least as a marksman, I hope. The first position is sitting with a loop sling. So I'm gonna go ahead and tighten my loop sling around my arm here. This supports the rifle while I'm shooting, and I wanna get it really tight and really high on my arm. They really emphasize that in the training materials. Another thing they emphasize is really leaning over for this sitting position. I've never done a sitting position quite like this, but it seems like when you do it right, it really does give you some good support. So for this position, I want to put my legs out like this. I got my loop sling to support the rifle, and then I'll bend all the way over my knees so that my forearms are resting on my shins. It's a little wonky. I'm having to adjust a little bit because I'm on a downward slope, but I think this will still work just fine. All right, guys, let's give this thing a try. Safety's coming off. That's round 1. Again, no time limit. We can take our time here. Damn it. That was a bad shot, and I could feel it. All right, let's put this one right in the bullseye. Not quite, but it doesn't look too bad. Let's walk up and see that target real quick. I'll mention that in the manual, it specifies that if a shot is touching the line, that means it's counted as the higher point value. It says they accounted for that when they made the target, so that's how we'll score it today. All right, so it looks like we have 3 4s, so that's 12, and then a 3, that's 15, and then a 2, so 17. So 17 out of 25 for that portion. Not terrible, but let's see if we can do better on some of the following ones. All right, guys, next up is the squatting position. This one is my least favorite. It's really awkward for me for whatever reason, but let's give it a go and see how we do. All right, let's walk down and see how we did. We have a pretty good grouping there. This one shot over here, I wish I could have brought that one in, but it looks like we have 4 4s and a 3, so I can't complain about that. I'll record a 19 out of 25 for that section. Hey, for being the most awkward feeling one, I actually shot pretty well there. Next up is the kneeling position. If I can get a score like I did for squatting on this one, I'll be pretty happy. Man, God, this is why I like end block clips, okay? That one wasn't as good. All right, all clear. Let's walk down and take a look. I felt pretty good about that one. So far, we haven't had any shots that actually went in the bullseye, so let's see if I was able to do that this time. Oh, how about 2 shots in the bullseye? Boom, boom. All right, it looks like 2 5s, 2 4s, and this one is on, This one looks like it ripped the paper up to the line, but I don't think the actual shot was in the line. So I'll count that as a 3. All right, so that is 10, 18, 21. 21 out of 25. I gotta say, as I'm shooting, I'm getting a little bit more comfortable here, and my score has gone up 17, 19, 21. That kneeling position probably was the most comfortable so far. I think I would have done better in sitting. I was kind of at an angle for the sitting position, which was a lot different than what I had practiced sitting on my living room floor. So I think that threw me off a little bit. Next up, we'll be standing, and we'll use a different type of sling called the hasty sling. Let's get to it. All right, I adjusted my sling here. This standing portion says to use the hasty sling. For the rest of the tests, I use the loop sling, which is where I put this upper portion of the sling around my bicep. That one's really good, and the manual recommends using that when you can, but it takes a while to set up. So in combat, they told soldiers to use the hasty sling instead. And they also require you to use this one for the standing portion of the test because it kind of wraps around your chest like you'll see and supports the back of the rifle as well. All right, hasty sling feels good. You can see the back of the rifle supported, so I don't have to worry about it dropping out or squeezing it in there too hard. All right, guys, let's load up and try this one out. This one should be the hardest of all of them, but my score's been getting better every time, so who knows? Boo! Bad. That one was not very good. Let's do a little better on this one. I'll be honest, that one felt even worse. Oh, I should raise my elbow up higher. The guys in the manual have their elbow like all the way up to their eye line. It's kind of crazy. All right, let's see that target. I felt a lot less steady for that one, and I would guess that the target will reflect that. I see some, looks like maybe some 2s and stuff from back here already, so let's go see the damage. Well, it could be worse. It looks like we have a couple here that are close to the line, so let's look a little closer. This one's definitely a 4. This one, again, maybe it ripped the line a bit, but that's a 3. It's not in the 4 section. This one right here is a 3. This one, again, I think it ripped the 3 line, but it's outside. We'll call that a 2, and then another 2. That's our worst one so far, which is to be expected. And it's raining, which is appropriate, I guess, for a poor target like this. Let's add this up. 14 out of 25. Not great. 71 out of 100. Well, this next part of the test is going to be harder, but so far we're at least on track to make the marksmanship qualification. We'll see if I can score a little bit higher on the timed portion of the test if the weather holds out here. Now we're on to the sustained fire portion of the test. So there are 3 rounds for this portion of the test. In each of them, you start standing up, then the timer starts. There's 68 seconds per round. Once the timer starts, I have to lie down, fire 4 rounds, reload a fresh clip, fire 5 more rounds before the end of that 68 seconds. This one is not only testing your marksmanship, but your ability to quickly reload, which hasn't been going so smoothly for me so far, so we'll see how that goes, and your ability to quickly assume those shooting positions that we've been using. Loading 4 to start.
Okay, ready, set, go.
Come on, baby. Yes!
30 seconds. Seconds.
Boom. I think I timed that pretty well.
5 seconds to spare.
Wow, I wish I got bonus points for that. Let's look at the freaking target, people. Oh yeah. Okay, not great, but looks like maybe 2. We're looking for 9 shots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Where's shot number 9? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, maybe I missed the paper with one. I really didn't think I did. Looks like right off the bat here we have 2 5s. Then we have how many 4s? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 4s, 2 3s. Those are kind of almost touching the line, but not really. No, I can see where the holes are in the wood. They're not quite. So 2 3s. So that is 32 out of 45. I kind of hope to do better than that, honestly, but let's move on to the next section and see how we do. So for this next one, I can choose between sitting or squatting. And again, I have to start in the standing position. I think squatting would be easier to assume, but I kind of hate the squatting position, so I think I'll go with sitting for this one. All right, guys, same exact everything, only I'll be sitting this time. Let me load my 4 rounds.
Ready?
Yeah.
Go. Seconds. 20 seconds.
That one did not feel as good, honestly. I didn't feel great about some of those shots. Hopefully I at least got them all on the paper, but let's go down and take a look. All right, guys, moment of truth. Let's count them up. Okay, they're all on the paper. That's better. It seems like I was shooting a bit high on some of these shots. I don't know what the reason for that is, but you can see the lines are a little closer together above the target than they are below. So I think being high will kind of hurt my score. Let's add them up and see. 35 out of 45. This next one that we'll do is kneeling. And again, I can choose between kneeling or squatting for this one. For me, that's a no-brainer. Kneeling was the best position I shot in on the slow fire, so I'm definitely gonna kneel for this. All right, guys, let's try this last portion. This is the same thing, I'm just kneeling this time. Load my 4.
Ready, set, go.
Whoa. Woof.
Seconds. Still got time.
All right. How much time left?
23 seconds to spare.
Wow, holy crap. I was going really fast. If I'm being honest, I thought you said 10 seconds at the end there, so I kind of cooked them off. I still see a lot of 4s. I don't know. Doesn't look great. I think I had higher hopes for this one, but let's go take a look. This is the moment of truth. That was the last portion of this test, so once we add these up, we'll know exactly how I did. Unfortunately, we have one that is completely off the paper. That one's a 0. It's on the paper, but it's outside the border, so it's 0. Like I said, there are no shots worth 1 point. It's either in the 2 or it's not. But that one would have been in the 3, I guess. Okay, so it looks like we have 1, 2, 3 5s, 1, 2, 3, 4 4s, and 1 3. So that is 15 plus 16 is 31, plus 3 is 34. So for that section, I got 101 out of 135. That's gonna be close, guys. I think I'm gonna be right on the cusp here. I don't know, we'll have to see. All right, guys, let's add it up. So reminder, I need 160 to qualify as a marksman, and I need 190 to qualify as a sharpshooter. So let's see if I hit either of those. We got 71 plus 101. That equals 172 out of 235, guys. I may not be a sharpshooter, but I can at least say I qualified as a marksman for this one. Oh yeah, look at that. Can the camera see that? Can you see that right there? I'm just kidding, guys. That's like, this is the lowest I could be while still qualifying, but I'm not gonna complain about it, especially after how poorly I did on the 1911 video. If you guys haven't seen that, go watch that. I'll have to retry that qualification at some point because that one was a lot of fun. I think I could do a lot better now. Do you think you could pass the test? I linked a document in the description that has the full testing protocol with a score sheet and everything you need to try this test for yourself. Give it a shot and let me know how you do. I'd love to see more people trying this test, but of course only do it if you can do it safely and responsibly. I'm not gonna be held liable if you guys do something stupid. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Remember to blacken your sights, and I'll see you in the next one.